Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, excellencies, friends, Misters, Secretary Generals, plural, Ted, Tim, thank you so much. I'm really, truly pleased to be here tonight to join in honoring the distinguished recipients of your Global Leadership Award, all of whom are so worthy of your recognition. But if I might stray a little, I want to congratulate in particular Archbishop Desmond Tutu, who has been a personal hero of mine since college. I'll never forget you, Arch, coming to Stanford University during the height of the anti-apartheid struggle and giving one of the most powerful speeches I've ever heard. You declared that the people of South Africa did not want their chains polished, meaning no half gestures. South Africans wanted their chains broken and were demanding the full measure of freedom owed to each of God's children. To this day, you remain a clarion voice for the oppressed, a champion for global justice, and an inspiration to all who struggle for freedom, equality, and peace. Ted, we salute you. What you've done is absolutely amazing, and I want to join in thanking you for your vision, your commitment, and your extraordinary generosity. Look what you have built. Ted and Tim, Kathy Calvin, Patrick Madden, and the entire UNF family, I want to thank you for your steadfast support of the United Nations and a strong US-UN partnership. Secretary General Bond, thank you again for your unwavering partnership and your committed leadership of the United Nations, especially in these challenging times. And through you, I want to thank and underscore our deep gratitude to the staff of the United Nations, the Secretariat, and the agencies and the funds and programs for their dedicated service. I'm proud, and it's really nice to be back among so many people who believe passionately in preserving and strengthening the United States and United Nations relationship. Over the past 4 years, I've seen firsthand how active and constructive US leadership at the United Nations advances US strategic interests and helps us tackle the most pressing global challenges. That leadership and American partnership with countries from every region of the world, nations small and large, have produced real results. The toughest sanctions ever against Iran and North Korea, renewed momentum to stop the proliferation of nuclear weapons and materials, progress towards the goal of a world without nuclear weapons, an unprecedented mandate to save lives in Libya, support for the successful birth of South Sudan, the robust defense of democracy in Côte d'Ivoire, and historic political transition just recently in Somalia, and vigorous global efforts to fight the scourge of terrorism. The US provided critical support to the United Nations as it delivered life-saving humanitarian aid in response to the earthquake in Haiti, the floods in Pakistan, and the famine in the Horn of Africa, among other crisis zones. US advocacy and diplomacy helped spur the General Assembly to create a new consolidated agency dedicated to the empowerment of women. And in the Security Council, The U.S. has championed the creation of an office to combat sexual violence in combat zones. Even the Human Rights Council has significantly improved its performance since 2009, when the United States was privileged to join that body. It squarely confronted gross violations in Iran, in Libya, Syria, Cote d'Ivoire, Burma, North Korea, Cambodia, Belarus, Sri Lanka, Eritrea, and Sudan. Together, we've galvanized historic action to condemn the violence and human rights abuses suffered by lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender persons. Several of the world's worst human rights abusers have dropped their bids for council membership rather than face opposition. And Israel can count on a resolute friend to combat consistently biased treatment. I want to pay special tribute to my colleague, Ambassador Eileen Donoghue, who's here tonight, who has been the champion of many of these great successes in the Human Rights Council, and whom I look forward to seeing continue on that same path. Together, here in New York, we're working to make the United Nations more efficient and effective. Thanks to the leadership of the Secretary General, with the active support of the United States and scores of member states, the UN has made real strides towards reform and modernization. Last year, for example, the United Nations cut its 2012 and 2013 regular budget by 5% over the previous biennium. The first meaningful reduction in the UN budget since the 1990s, and just the second in 50 years. So when it comes to advancing US interests, standing up for our values, and reforming the United Nations, the results prove that the United States is most effective when we roll up our sleeves, participate constructively, pay our bills, build diverse coalitions, and lead with principle and purpose. That's what the Obama administration has done over the last 4 years. And thus today, America is stronger and more respected. The American people are safer, and the American relationship with the United Nations is far healthier. I look forward to the United States building on this progress for years to come. Thank you very much.